I'm Marisa, and I'm a process-based artist who is interested in the interplay between making and unmaking. The biodegradable materials that I work with will certainly return to the earth. My practice involves working with bioplastic, which I developed from natural materials. I use bioplastics as an ephemeral material because I know that those will biodegrade. I've identified a place in the Milkwood Forest that I would love to work with. It's a beautiful space with lots of negative spaces and branches sort of intersecting with each other to create a web-like structure. And I would like to use the bioplastic and fill in a couple of those negative spaces. My challenge is scale. I noticed this beautiful semicircular structure of vines that grew from the humus of the floor and sort of connected the land to the sky in this knotted, entangled web. And I was really drawn to that. So I became interested in inserting little bits of bioplastic in between the negative spaces of this web-like structure. So during this residency, I put up a makeshift lab that I used to produce plant-based pigments and then introduce those into the bioplastics. Some of the plant-based materials that I used were foraged from the forest, and they were really surprising materials. They surprised me in ways that I couldn't imagine. I used a finger lichen called Old Man's Beard, which is obviously green, and it revealed a beautiful orange color to me. And then the mpepu flowers, the young mpepu flowers, I knew that they would be yellow, but by lowering the pH of the solution, I got the most fluorescent yellow color that I couldn't even imagine. So I used some of the clays of the quarry, and they gave me rich reds and yellows and an iridescent, surprising green color. I mean, who would imagine that clay could be green? In a world where plastic is a major problem, I thought that using bioplastic would be a suitable solution as an art material. However, it comes with its own problems, and it comes with its own connections to so many things in our world that it is quite difficult to find a perfect solution. But what it does do for me is it gives me a way of thinking through the materials about ecological concerns. And it helps me to see my relationship with the natural world and the decisions that I make in relation to the natural world. It also has a life of its own, which I really love. I love that it has a life of its own in the sense that it has colors and textures and a viscosity, depending on the type of bioplastic that I work with, that surprises me. It also surprises me sometimes with growths on it, like fungal growth, and I see it as the agentic quality of the bioplastic that I work with. So yeah, as an artist, I can't control the bioplastic 100%, and I've learned to patiently work with it and curiously work with it. I gently sewed the bioplastic bits into the negative spaces of the vines. And it gave me the opportunity to connect with the rhythms and the sounds and the light and also the critters of the forest. And it's really in those moments where I became still and where I became part of the environment that the forest revealed the most to me. I'm thinking about the rhythms of the forest, the light, that plays on the installation, sometimes dappled light, sometimes bright light, and sometimes complete darkness. I thought that it would be a good idea to take my fellow artists to see the installation at nighttime and at daytime. And many of the viewers interpreted it as an unconventional cathedral space, a space of stillness and a space that has stained glass windows that offer them a space for reflection and stillness, and maybe perhaps a sense of hope. And if I may hope, I hope that over time, what I've created with my human hands would fade away and that the natural world will continue to thrive.